For this episode, we're gonna talk about mods, okay? When it comes to mods, look, I rarely use mods, okay? But I do know some of you uses mods, okay? As we all know, I'm certain you know about Nexus Mods. When they say they're not, or in this case, they're not taking any political sides, yeah, that's a total hypocrisy, folks. Like for example, Marvel Spider-Man flag. When people tried to change the LGBTQ flag into the American flag, what happened after that? That person who changed it got banned. I'm not joking, it happened. Now before we go over to the screenshot about certain mods, I'm gonna showcase some clips before we showcase the examples. This is one level of hypocrisy from mods, okay?
Apparently your view doesn't count, and quite frankly, well, that just sucks. So let's get into the video today talking about Cloud and Aerith. So we're gonna start off right off the bat. I'm going to showcase the video that got all of this conversation going, and I warn you, it is extremely cringe. If you are not used to Aerith's voice dialogue in the remake, she definitely talks with a little bit of accentuality, but again, this is pretty typical of Japanese-made video games. Check this out. It is pretty hilarious.
You did it!
Yeah.
Alright, good enough. Let's keep on trucking.
What?
Yeah?
Huh?
That went pretty well.
Sure did.
Oh.
Huh? Wait a minute, did you just...
Nope.
So obviously they look fucking terrible, okay? In
Yeah.
my opinion, it looks absolutely awful. I think Aerith looks a little bit worse than Cloud, but overall, it is obviously a race swap mod. Now, why is this a topic of conversation? Well, number one, people are obviously not going to like when you change certain things. People don't like race swapping, especially since most race swapping is only ever allowed in one direction.
Yeah.
You're going to have multiple white characters. This has happened for years, by the way. Hollywood was doing this for a long time. Every single movie that had a pre-established white character for years was being race swapped to a black character, especially if they were ginger. The ginger genocide was absolutely real, where multiple characters were being race swapped to black characters for whatever that reason may be. And somehow, some way, the best actor for the role was always a black person. That's what they would tell you. This was the best actor for the role, and you had to basically eat the bullshit every single time it happened.
The problem is that Hollywood these days, they keep on complaining there's no representation and all that sort. I would say this, folks. Well, look, if you want to hire DEI, look, like, you have to at least pick someone who is talented, which I think this is something that is lacking. Look, regardless whether they're blacks, Hispanic, or anything, if you're not talented at your job, why bother hiring? I know it's irrelevant, but remember, we're doing a recap. You have to understand how we get here.
You know that Hollywood was participating in this, and we know the gaming industry loves to push the
Oh,
DEI nonsense. We know this, okay? This is a documented fact. You can have your ideology surrounding it all you want, but there is an inherent push to put non-white characters into video games for no other reason other than representation. Not for better storytelling, not for better overall just the situation in the game. It's just literally to push more non-white characters in video games for solely representational aspects, and that is literally it. Now, why does this matter? It's a single-player game, it's a mod, who cares? And you're right, I absolutely agree. Who cares?
Me
But
too.
unfortunately, there is a hypocrisy that we have to kind of focus on, and that has to do first with the social aspect. I saw this post over on X from somebody called Gretel that ironically, by the way, has a white Cloud profile picture, and they said he looks fine as fuck.
I just received a follow-up video from Discord. I'm not gonna name my source, okay? I like to let them keep their job. Now, this is from a screenshot. I really don't care about mods, okay? When it comes to single-player games, okay? But I do know most of my viewers here, I'm 100% certain all of you have used mods, okay? Which is why I'm going to recommend DEG mod. And there's another one, I think it's called Akaya mod. I really need to check back. So this is from Ashfall Dude. I hate Fallout. Glory to Bethesda. And another screenshot, it says, Fallout will not exist without pronouns. Pronouns are more important than God. I will destroy everyone who doesn't believe in transgender ideology. Okay, Ashfall Dude. Before you come at me, let me tell you this. I'm a Muslim. I don't believe in your transgender thing. So what, you want to come after me? These people who promote wokeness and all these LGBTQ nonsense, why come they keep on saying people who are grifters are mostly Americans? How come? And I do mean, how come these wokies never attack people from either, I don't know, Saudi Arabia or Malaysia? I love gender. Fallout 76 and Fallout TV show are the best version of Fallout ever exists. I hate Fallout New Vegas. It's not LGBT enough. I'd like to ask all of you, have you played Fallout New Vegas? Tell me, what is your experience on it? There's nothing wrong with interracial marriage, okay? Now this one, the last screenshot, to be honest, I really don't give a fuck. No, I really don't. But the problem is, there are some nations who have a problem with it, okay? Like say the Saudi, Malaysia. Look, how come these people never go places like, what? The Middle East, Saudi Arabia? Let's see how they like it. Look, I really don't care what you do in your private life, okay? But when you force that, well, when you force your sexuality and your private sexuality or whatever it is down to people's throats, people will get pissed off. Look at this picture, folks. It's black, but the problem is this one here. That's the first hypocrisy.
If he looks fine as fuck, why didn't you change your white cloud profile picture to the black cloud then?
Yeah, haha.
Emotional
damage.
So anyway, the reason why I'm bringing up a post like this is because these are virtue signaling posts, right? These are people that really, I just genuinely don't believe that they actually care about this stuff. I think they're just taking it as an opportunity to kind of virtue signal for something that they want to see on a more regular basis, which is characters like Cloud ultimately being black or turned black for whatever the reason it may be. And they never really tell you how it can benefit the story. All they can tell you is how it benefits representation. Now, this particular mod is available on Nexus Mods at the time of filming this video. I don't know if it's going to be available after this, but so keep that with a grain of salt. But the reason why we're talking about this is because the conversation surrounding these mods, if this was the other way around, I'm telling you right now, I would put money on it.
Listen,
if this was the other way around, people would have a massive problem with this.
Yes, it is. Because there is a overwhelmingly hatred to white people for unknown reason. Mods are there for additional, okay? It's just for add-on, okay? That's nothing more. But when you do it for social, but when you do it for, well, nonsense like this, yeah, people have a problem, okay? And it shows you the level of it. Sorry. And it showcased the level of hypocrisy on everybody who, well, when it comes to white people, when it comes to race swapping white to black, that is okay, but when you race swap black to white, that is auto ban.
Right? If these characters were initially black and they were turned to be white, people will lose their minds and they'll gaslight you and they'll tell you, oh no, I don't care. I wouldn't lose your mind because I'm not an incel or something along those lines. But let's be real, they absolutely would. It's been proven that they would. They have showcased that they would. And all these lies really don't mean a thing when you guys don't act on what you say. So let's give you a couple of examples of the hypocrisy surrounding these modifications. First, I want to focus on a post from Pirate Nation talking about a mod that was uploaded to Nexus Mods that allowed you to turn Henry from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 into a black character. They allowed that mod to exist. That mod had absolutely no problems existing whatsoever, and they did not take it down. They did, however, take down the mod that would transform a black character in the video game to a white character. They took down that mod because of racism and representation and standing against all that other nonsense. They took that mod down, but they allowed the mod that made Henry black to stay up. That is one level of hypocrisy we're going to talk about from Nexus Mods. Let's talk about another one. So if you guys are not aware, Nexus Mods was actually leaving the Geralt of Rivia black mod up, by the way. They actually let you leave up a mod that race swaps Geralt of Rivia into a black person. I'm not even kidding. And again, I have no issues with this. I don't care. But if this was being enforced the other way equally, then nobody would care. But the truth is that it's not. And that's why it's a topic of conversation. You even have the mod in Monster Hunter Wilds that, forgive me, I forgot the name of the little kid in that video game, but they essentially turned him from like Indian / darker skin to white, and they took that mod down. They banned it completely from their platform for, you know, representation reasons and all that stuff. And by the way, this is from Nexus Mods, a website that likes to claim to everybody utilizing their website that they're not ideologically driven, that they don't make decisions based on ideology. It's hilarious. They're like, oh, we're just enforcing our community guidelines, but for some reason, like racism and all that only goes one way. You guys are ridiculous. We all know it's complete BS, obviously. They even ended up banning a mod that removed pronouns from the Starfield character creation screen. We have a post here from from Veridark saying confirmed. Nexus Mods is banning mods that remove pronouns from Starfield's character creation, but also straight up banning users who are uploading the said mods to the website. So even if it's not race related, if it's like identity driven, you know, LGBTQ, whatever, they end up banning you if you end up making a mod that removes anything that has to do with LGBTQ representation in your single player game. By the way, I want to keep reiterating that single player video games. It's not like it's multiplayer and other people able to see what you're doing with your mods. No, these are single player games that nobody would see what you're doing because it's only you playing the game. And meanwhile, Nexus is like, no, we need to make sure that we uphold our ideology in your single player game. It's hilarious. It really is. There was one particular situation that I found to be pretty cringe. I don't even think I bothered reporting on it initially when it happened, but there was a mod for Eve's Stellar Blade that turned her into a black worshipped kind of character. It's really weird. I'm going to put the screenshot up on the screen so that you guys can see what we're looking at, but it has all the prototypical stuff that you would pretty much expect. The snow bunny tattoos, you know, the black male property tattoos, all kinds of like big black king stuff. It's so obviously cringe, but at the end of the day, again, single player game. I don't care how you mod this game. I've seen people running around with Eve and cow outfits. Like, I really don't care. But the truth is that they care. They care so much that they want to make sure that they uphold whatever their ideology may actually be. So they ended up banning this mod, and it's so ironic because Nexus Mods, the shills obviously for racial DEI nonsense, they ended up sacrificing on the altar of DEI. They sacrificed this skin that was basically worshiping black men. They sacrificed this mod because it was objectification of women. That was their excuse for why this mod was removed.
I'm gonna showcase something. I have a Blue Sky account. I normally wouldn't have it, but mostly I didn't bother it. This is from All Out. And based on this, I don't know if this claim is true. I'm willing to listen to All Out Monte here. It says right here, Ashfall Dude does not pay either of us 10,000 US dollars. That's a lot they owe? Oh yeah, which reminds me. Let's see what's happening here.
Sit down and let me tell you the story about how the new world ended.
Let's see what's going on.
The winter of 2286 was a especially brutal one. Many people died. Their bodies are buried in caskets made of glowing snow.
Whoa.
It was here the children of Adam turned to the Commonwealth as their new staging ground for a new world. One free of the meddlesome budding tribal states which grew from the ashes of the apocalypse. The last son of Adam, a prophet to the Adamites, led a campaign across the Commonwealth, blazing a path through the new world, destroying settlements in an attempt to revert the world back to the early days of post-war life. Lexington,
keep listening.
or Corvega Town, was one such settlement. When a dirty bomb detonated in the town square, many of the tribals were reduced to feral husks, shambling around, like had been the case so many years ago. With the destruction, the surrounding territory began to crumble. Martial law was declared in Lexington. Concord was reduced to ashes, and bands of roaming warbands and raider gangs control much of the surrounding wasteland. It was here the sole survivor of Vault 111 emerged from the ashes of their old world to see it dying once again. This is the staging ground of the War of the Commonwealth, and the survivor's role in it is still yet to be written.
Regardless of what I'm reporting, always take this with a grain of salt, okay? And like Hypnotic would say, people who made race swapping from black to white, they'll be banned, okay? Which I'm 100% certain some of you have already tested and you got banned. According to my contacts here, I don't want to disclose their information. Ashfall Dude left out the fact that he knew another modder named Veta Phoenix and that he used to be on the Adam's Ashes mod, but was kicked out after Ashfall Dude essayed another modder named Witch. So Ashfall dude, who is a transgender, tried to convince the developer of Adam Ashes, but they did not work. No screenshot about this exists, but because all the messages were deleted before the screenshot could be made. I'm reading this from Discord. Now, I think we already know history of Nexus Mods. Now again, this is going to be a long video. Apologies, this has had to be a longer video.
With the final paragraph saying Nexus Mods banned the mod because of objectification of women. This is top soy jack behavior, and this is what the conservatards who LARP as anti-woke gamers are currently agreeing with. Cringe, weak, beta male behavior. So they didn't even care of the fact that it was worshiping black men because they saw the objectification of women and they decided to get rid of it. Again, unbelievable. This is a single player game with an extremely hot female protagonist. Of course, she's going to be objectified. Who are you to complain? Who are you to say anything about that objectification when you guys are the one that objectifying characters in Hades 2 that you find to be safe to objectify because they have a level of ugliness to it that you deem to be acceptable, and you want to convince everybody that you're totally into that you're not into what the heteros are into, you're not into what the normal people are into. No, you're the normal one and everybody else is weird. Now, people always say, well, if you have a problem with Nexus Mods, why don't you offer alternatives? And I do. I talk about them all the time, but nobody seems to listen, so I'm going to make a certain section in this video to make sure that I highlight 2 alternatives that I know of. And again, I don't utilize mods, so if you utilize mods, please make sure to comment down below what alternative websites that you use. Even if you still use Nexus Mods to this day, what is your alternative website that you utilize and that you're dabbing into? Help people who like to mod out in the comments down below. But first, we're going to start off with DEG Mods. So DEG Mods, I see quite often responding to my post way back in the day talking about censorship over at Nexus Mods, and they have a Twitter profile over here that literally is at DEG Mods. So make sure to give them a follow if this is something that you might be interested in. They have almost 31,000 followers. They're very active over there, and they're pushing their website hard anytime something goes wrong with Nexus Mods, even when it doesn't. They're still, it's very active, and if you're looking for an alternative, that will definitely be one. There is also another one called Ayaka Mods. This one's a little bit newer. Ayaka. This one showed up a couple of months after DEG Mods when they initially responded to my Nexus Mod stuff, and they have an official Discord server. Their page is literally at Ayaka Mods. They have about 15,000 plus followers, and you know, their website is up and coming as well. So these are 2 alternatives that you can be utilizing that may or may not be perfect. Obviously, again, I don't know when it comes to certain mods, but what I do know is that if you're going to complain about Nexus Mods and then say there are no alternatives, they're just alternatives that you don't necessarily want to utilize.
So check them out, folks. Recommend you do it. Now I think this is the part where we skipped. So again, let me tell you this. Oh, Grums. He says, we're winning. Nexus Mods fold. And Nexus sites allow male and female mods for Oblivion Remastered. They tried to claim the mod was never banned for the mod, but for the behavior of the mod maker. But they banned other MF mods before. It's a win, gamers. But also, again, these kind of people, the Sweet Baby Ing and all of their defenders, they're getting desperate, okay? And 2026 is going to be an interesting battle.
Now, this is so funny. I remember this particular situation, and it really shows the hypocrisy of Nexus Mods because they came out and they tried to claim that they didn't ban this mod because the mod itself. They banned this mod because the person who made the mod was just not acting right. Again, it's just like, you guys are just unbelievable. There was a post here from a community manager at the time over at Nexus Mods called Pickysaurus, and it says the following: community notice regarding this mod. This mod has been and likely will continue to be a source of controversy within the community. After a thorough review, we determined that the content of the mod itself does not violate our community guidelines. However, due to the nature of the topic, which often attracts intense and sometimes hostile discussion, the comment section will remain locked to prevent further escalation. There's been a lot of speculation and misinformation regarding the removal of the original mod.
That's BS.
To clarify, the mod was not taken down because of its content. As stated in the ban notice, it was removed due to the uploader's behavior. In the comments, the uploader expressed an intent to incite drama and endorsed an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. This kind of behavior directly violates our community standards. We recognize that mods like this can bring sensitive discussions around gender and identity to the forefront. While these are important conversations, our platform exists to support creative expression in modding, not to serve as a battleground for broader cultural or political debates. What we will not tolerate is trolling, harassment, discrimination, or any other form of toxicity that these discussions may provoke. Our commitment remains the same, to keep modding accessible and welcome for everyone. And please note, any re-uploads of this content or any derivative content intended to circumvent this policy will be removed. Abusive behavior in comments or posts will result in moderation actions. there is no need to report this mod page. If you prefer not to see this content, we encourage you to make use of the content blocking tools by blocking the real world issues tag or the author 7H3 Laughing Man. So again, this is one massive post that was put out there by Nexus Mods that's complete utter bullshit. You know it and I know it. They absolutely took down this mods for ideological reasons, and they got so much backlash for this. I remember this being such a big thing that they eventually folded. It was a bigger backlash than almost any other backlash that had happened previously, simply because Oblivion Remastered was such a massive release at the time. People enjoyed the game heavily for what it was, and the only real sour taste with it was the A and B stuff. That was it. Otherwise, the game was fantastic. I played it. I loved it. I thought it was a great game. But obviously, the body type A and B thing is really annoying, and even though it may not deter someone from playing the video game, at the end of the day, once you boot up that character creator and you look at these awesome character designs only to see, hey, what body type are you? Are you body type A or body type B? Who do you know in real life that ever goes with that language? Nobody, right? This is only an internet thing. It literally only exists on the internet. There is no such thing as body type A and B when you are out in the real world. Even if you're getting a driver's license, you can't say, yeah, I'm body type A or I'm body type B. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't exist. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this entire situation was based off ideology, and we all know it. And they tried to gaslight people and say that it wasn't. And it's true. You know what Grum said, ironically, that if you look in the past, you can clearly see that they have made decisions in banning mods simply because they were against the ideology. We just went over like 5 or 6 of them in this video alone, and I could easily provide more examples if I wanted to search more, but truthfully, I don't need to, because Nexus Mods has a history and has a reputation of being this way. And even after they got bought out, they are still this way. If anything, they're probably worse now at this point. They're enforcing certain laws that were put into place by the UK Online Safety Act and trying to get age verification and ID scans from people in order to utilize the adult mods that are on the website. This is just what they're doing now.
First off, shout out to Hypnotic. That's a very long video. So again, folks, when it comes to fixing this, the first thing is that I don't know if it needs fixing, because there are some people who still utilize Nexus mods. Some people, I recommend, who don't want to use Nexus mod, yes, go to alternative, like he says, Akaya or DEG, okay? Because frankly, it is best you utilize those alternative. That alternative, when it grows, and I do mean when it grows, Nexus Mod is going to make a choice. Either continue to do their moronic take, even though they say they don't support any racial background or racial group. Well, this is the hypocrisy you're looking at, and they will continue to do the same thing, thus ignoring criticism, or they can just do better, improve, and most importantly, listen to feedback. But we all know, Nexus Mod will never listen. If any of you who don't want to use Nexus Mod, just go to alternative, okay? I don't know how long, but like Hypnotic would say, it looks worse after they got bought out. They have the UK Online Safety Act, which that is going to be even worse. These companies, whether they like it or not, the gamers are their consumers, okay? That's the real thing. Whether they like it or not, gamers are the ones that buy their product, are the ones that uses their tool, such as mods. They bought it, which I'm certain most people bought it or something, I don't know. Overall, these video game companies should learn that we gamers, we're the one that give them money and put their studio lights on. Because without us, good luck on the unemployment line, or what Asmongold would say, welcome home to McDonald's.